see, I'm in the middle of Utah, driving from St. George up to American Fork, but heading up right now because this car that I'm driving had a crazy issue about 3 weeks ago where the brakes just stopped working. I'm currently taking this car in, this Defender, gonna trade it in today for a Yukon Denali. So I have done a video in here before where I do buy a car in under 15 minutes, and I'm not gonna lie, today we would have done that as well, except for I had to go get a cashier's check at Wells Fargo. You're a brave man wearing that Dolphins vest. So it's crazy. I'm driving back from the Provo area, and I pulled off a Nephi because I want to hit some golf balls, and there's a golf course. The reason I know that is because this exit I just took, you would drive like 30 minutes straight on this road into the middle of nowhere, and you get to Ephraim. It's a tiny town in the middle of nowhere in Utah that I played junior college football at I was there for 3 semesters. I can remember the first time ever driving on this very specific road. I was 19 years old. I moved from Boise. It was January. I was the only one, my girlfriend at the time that was going to BYU dropped me off because I didn't have a car. And I just remember getting to that college campus, that junior college campus. There are turkey farms everywhere. All the kids were still on break from Christmas break. I get there, no car, no kids, just a tiny campus. I'm gonna play football there for spring ball, and I just break down and I'm crying. My phone doesn't work because at the time I think Verizon was the only one that worked, and I had like AT&T, and it just didn't work. So I had no way of calling anyone. I had no car, and I'm just stuck in this dreary town that smells like turkey shit. But it built so much character. I can remember being $500 in debt. I overdrafted my account. My dad refused to pay it, so I went to collections and again, learning lessons the hard way. The story of all of this is now I'm driving back. This is now it'll be 21 years this coming January. Driving a Yukon back for my wife, a car that I would consider super nice. We traded in her Defender. I have a Raptor. I didn't have a car. I couldn't afford a car. I was this broke 19-year-old kid feeling like, oh my gosh, I am so lost in life. No family, no friends, no anything. It was the scariest thing, but that kind of stuff is what builds character. And it changes you. It changes what you think you can do in life. You start believing in yourself, because I went there and started at linebacker. From there, I went down to Utah Tech, and everything, again, by not quitting, by not just throwing in the towel, being like, I can't do this, I'm moving back home where I can use, a shitty car, but what if my parents' cars, and I can stay comfortable. It's when you get outside of your comfort zone that you either sink or swim, and 9 times out of 10 you learn how to swim. And so I would just being on this road really for the first time in 20 years. The last time I was on this road, didn't have a car, was $500 in debt, to now driving on this road, brand new Yukon. It's not like, oh, look what I've done, but it's I gotta thank that kid. I gotta thank that kid for not giving up. So Morgan did say, Steve, are you gonna take your clubs? I said, no, I'm not taking my clubs. I'm not gonna stop and golf. I'm not taking my clubs. I, however, did bring a club. I didn't take my clubs, but I brought a club. So I'm just gonna go hit 50 balls with my 7-iron that has my training grip on it. I don't want to hear it. I'm driving over 7 hours in a car today to pick up this for my loving wife so that she can drive and feel safe with our little baby girl in the back. I love that I can do that. I love that Dad can come to the rescue and take care of that. But Dad also wants to hit some golf balls. Almost 10 p.m. Just got home. Just put the wifey's new car in its place.
It looks so nice.
Does it have a new car smell? Or was I farting in it?
No, it definitely does. You a what?
I'm kidding. I wasn't farting in it. Not an ideal day of eating, but sometimes you come home at 10 p.m. after driving for 8 hours and you're just happy with a gyro. You say a gyro or a euro? I don't know. And some pita and some hummus. I'm eating this, showering, and going to bed. Night.
We're in the gym Thursday. It's gonna be a hypertrophy session. So Monday, we did an upper body strength training session, a lot lower of reps. Tuesday, lower body strength training session. Wednesday was off yesterday. Went up north and got Morgan a car. Today is now back shoulder hypertrophy day. Feeling extra plump today, probably from sitting in a car all day yesterday. Definitely gonna weigh a lot. We started off this journey, geez, I better look at my calendar, but I think we're 7.5 weeks into this now, at 200 pounds in the morning without any, food or anything. It's now 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's gonna be different, but I'm weighing basically 220 pounds. 220 pounds. So my goal is to get to 220 in the morning with no shoes on, no mic on. So that's pretty good though. I still got over a month. Definitely tight. I think it's from the car ride after a leg day. Don't recommend being in a car for 8 hours after a leg day. I was getting some sciatica, some pain down the back of my hamstring. So last night, I got a good stretch session when I got back, but still feeling pretty tight. Glad we have upper body today. Since it is a back day, we're gonna spend about 5 minutes really opening up some joints in the shoulder. So opening up our shoulders, stretching our chest, because we're gonna be working back. When you work back, you're obviously stretching chest, and then firing up some back muscles. So first thing we're gonna do is just some speed work. And I'm actually just dropping the dumbbell, catching and rowing. Next up, we'll just do our 1 minute of hanging. Really stretch the lats. Oh yeah. Hit some shoulders. So just got some YTW. 1, 2, 3. I'm actually really tight from that 8 hours in the car, as expected. Probably a little watery too. Up first, we got some rowing. Monday was our strength day. Today is more of a, like I said, volume day, but what we're gonna do first is actually some speed training with a power movement like a row. So we're gonna be setting up. You can do it on, a T-bar. You could do it on pin lay rows, bend over rows, whatever. I love this one. We're going 60 to 70% of what we would normally do for 5 reps. So what you would normally do for 5 reps, we're gonna be doing 6 sets of 3 and moving it quickly. So it's all about speed today. When I say speed, it's still under control, but it's not this, we're not squeezing at the top. We're setting up for it. Kind of like we were doing. I'm gonna fire up that central nervous system and just, again, staying quick with it. We got 6 sets here. About a minute and a half rest in between. As you guys can see, I got a 25 and a 10. This bar is about 55 pounds. So we got about 125 pounds. That's about 60% of what I would do normally for 3 to 5 reps on here. If I'm going as heavy as I can for 3 to 5 reps, this is about 60% of that. But again, only 3 reps, and it's gonna be quick. Quick with good form. It's gonna feel light, but again, the purpose is today, we're not going to failure, we're going for quickness. You can perform these pin lay rows. It doesn't have to be, if you don't have this at the gym, it can be dumbbell bent over rows, it can be just standard T-bar, whatever you have. Again, the way we're gonna do this is still set up. So in a stretch position, my first movement is retract those scapulas, pull to the sternum. It's gonna feel light, but after a minute of rest, 6 sets, again, we're really gonna be warming up that CNS, but also a different stimulus when we start working for speed rather than just for strength or for, even for hypertrophy, training for quickness, recruiting some different muscle fibers. We're gonna go a little bit wider on this one. Less bicep the wider we go on this, but it's gonna be, the range of motion's obviously gonna be less. So we're not going to get as full of a range of motion in our back. And the more, if I was to raise, if I was going to do a row and go higher, it's going to be more upper back, but it's also going to involve more traps and more rear delt. So my goal is to pull to that sternum, which kind of puts me, if you look right down my shoulder to elbow line, it's like a 45-degree, just straight. If this is 90, my elbows are about right there, pulling that back. I like to have that wide set felt there. And do another, not super wide, but wider than I would say a standard. We got one more set here, and then we're going to be switching it up from a pull-up and actually going to a rack pull off of a bench. So we'll show you guys exactly how to set up for that one here in a second. But loving this split where we have strength day and then hypertrophy. And I've actually found that hypertrophy days kick my butt a little bit more just because of the total volume. Strength stuff, I leave the gym feeling pretty good. I don't feel like I went to failure necessarily, but with lower reps, you know, on those strength days, you're going to feel good, and we want you to feel good going into a Thursday, Friday, Saturday session. If we did all of this hypertrophy early on in the week and strength later on, we wouldn't have the same effect. For our second exercise today, we're going to be doing 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Because we're going higher in reps today, we're actually going to be utilizing a rack pull-up. A rack chin is what we'll call it. These are kind of a great alternative. You can use them more like a pull-up, or you can use them more like a lat row that you're leaning back, more like a high row. So depending on how you do that, if we're going to be more of a pull-up, we're going to be more vertical with our torso versus our legs being more here. So depending upon your angle of where you put your feet on the bench, now feet on the bench versus feet on the ground is really just going to change how much body weight you're lifting. So the more vertical we are with the torso, the more it's going to act like a pull-up. The more we scoot our feet out and the more horizontal we get, the more it's going to act like more of like a row. So I'm going to be pulling again. I'm going to be kind of doing like a hybrid, which is kind of why I like these. So I'm going to be scooting this out just a little bit. I would say, if a pull-up is almost to 90 degrees, we're almost vertical. I'm going to be probably not going to be at 45 degrees. I'm going to be right at about 65. And again, the whole purpose of this, staying nice and wide, treating it almost like a wide grip pull-up with our feet elevated. And again, the more I go out here versus the more, I feet on the ground, I'd have to actually raise this up a little bit because I can't get vertical here. But now this is a pull-up and we're assisting with our feet. So if I wanted to do more of pull-ups, it'd be here. Now, obviously I'm driving, kind of my elbows are pointing to the ground, just like I would on a pull-up. Scapula's down and back. More I row, more I'm going to be pulling the elbows back behind my body. Going to set this up. The more horizontal you are, the harder it's going to be. When we put our feet on the ground, that's easier because you're able to assist. Now, I don't want to be fully horizontal, so I'm actually going to raise this up a little bit just so I have a little bit more room. This is also a great one that, again, you can extend this at just by going from feet up to feet down there. One of these movements that, because it's basic, there's not a machinery, it doesn't look super hard, people probably don't take advantage of them as much as they should, but really the quality of the reps is going to depend upon what you're putting into it. But I like them a lot in, if I'm doing pull-ups early on in the week, give these a go later on. So I'm going to be here, 8 to 12 reps, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That was actually plenty hard. So again, this would be just a straight pull-up, assisting with my feet. As I come here, well, now you can see that would be about 45. So I want to be somewhere in this range. I'm going to get a little bit more then of a flatter angle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Drop it. 10, 11, 12. And again, it shouldn't be that hard, but you put in quality reps, really feel I got a lot of lat and even a lot of sub-scap in that. So should probably do those more often. The other day I was on the golf course, just played 9 holes for my cardio, and I was putting, and I kind of, set up like this. In your putt, you shouldn't be like this. Going to be a little bit rounded, but my lats were, I guess, poking through my shirt. My buddy's like, geez, you're going to take flight with that. Made me feel pretty good. Putting, feeling like I was in a front lat spread. Look at that, it really is. Bodybuilding to putting. All right, time's up. Again, we're gonna do our, hopefully 8-ish, drop down, finish off, fairly wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Woo. And again, more I can bring my feet here, easier, harder, even on the ground. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, yeah. All right, 3 sets done and dusted there. Moving on. Nice thing is we don't even have to take off weight. Okay, next up, 12 to 15 reps. So again, that volume with this. I don't want to throw the weight around on these days. You can get kind of sloppy with that many reps. But we're gonna go seated. Since we just did a wide grip, we're gonna go a seated cable row, but keep things nice and close. Now, how I like to do these again is, I like to pretend these arms are just hooks. I'm hooked in, retract the scapulas down and back. So the first part of the movement's this right here, that. Then from there, finish off, pulling these handles wide, finishing about just higher than my belly button. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 11. It's gonna be a little bit more lats on this one, especially that lower lat. And again, we're getting some spinal erectors because coming forward, using that lower back to set us here, retract the scapulas, and then finish it off. 3 sets, 12 to 15 reps. Lats are getting too big there. Those lats are getting too big to take off my shirt.
Pull up to the Pentagon swinging. That's all heat that I'm bringing. Lay lines got me on the main lines. I'm the main figure with the main sign. Whole squad down for me, that's that naturally. You can't crown the beast. They might blast at me, that's that blasphemy. They step backs for me. Dark night is coming. Y'all better start running. Y'all see me coming. Y'all better start running. Dark nights is coming. Y'all better start running. Y'all see me coming.
Those last couple reps, biceps really want to take over. And that's when you got to remember, retract, retract, retract. Even if that means kind of getting that T-spine elevated and extended a little bit, that's fine. But we don't want this, we want this. Next up, we got 2 exercises, superset fashion. So we're gonna go with a Batwing row. We've talked about those before, with close grip lat pull down. Superset, just 2 sets each. And then we got shoulders. We got 12 reps on our neutral grip Batwing row, straight into a close grip pull down, where we have 20 reps. So 12 and 20. Again, a lot of volume here. But how we're going to want to perform this Batwing row, find a weight that's fairly light. This is 35 pounds. We're going to be lying on an incline bench, chest down. And again, biggest thing we want to do is we're not necessarily pulling straight back here, and we're not pulling straight out. It's a 45-degree row where we're gonna incorporate some trap, rhomboids, even posterior delts here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Definitely feel traps coming into that. And again, because we have 20 reps here, we're really going to focus on range of motion, but also I don't want to cheat. Straight up, straight down. So instead of leaning back, I'm just pulling down to, trying to pull down on my rib cage. Nice and light. 5, 6, 8, 9, 3, 4, 5. That's a burner. That's a burner. We got 2 minutes. And we got one more round of that. Cruel how much faster you lose it than getting it back. It seems like you can lose everything in a week and it takes you 4 weeks to put back on. So. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right here you kind of see, this used to be where I'd get super tight. Obviously there's some lat in there, some rear delt, and oh my gosh, I get it scraped. It was the worst, and I can just feel that area getting tight. So I think it's about time I start getting some body work done again. Chiropractor, massage therapy, that used to all be something that when I was doing shows. Just as important as your eating, your nutrition was taking care of your body so you could get in here and work out. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3. It's a nice, nice and tight. Get a good stretch. That's it for our back hypertrophy day. Definitely starting to see changes in my weak points, which is my back and my chest. Also today, I'm throwing in some shoulders. So we got rear delts. I have upright rows, reverse pec deck, and lateral raises. And then on my chest hypertrophy day, I'll hit some anterior delt, probably another set of lateral raises, and maybe even some shrugs. So it's kind of like a push-pull on these days. And I'll also finish up with biceps. But I'm gonna love you guys and leave you. Go do those things. Just focus on my workout now. Just wanted to talk you guys through the back portion. Did some different things today. The rack chins. Again, back, when we start talking about origins and insertions of your lats, it's important to really, when we start looking at angles. Charles Glass always kind of taught me about how important angles are. And it's gonna be kind of different depending upon how your anatomy is set up. So different movements, different angles on those rack chins might affect you a little bit differently. So mess around with those. But we appreciate you guys watching. Every day we're getting better. Last set, best set. Appreciate you guys.